And hello everybody, welcome to Flight Past for another episode where we fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and we go and have a look at some of these places that history has happened in. And today we will be looking at Operation Tonga. In part 7 we looked at the landings of the gliders of D Company 2nd Battalion Ox and Bucks Light Infantry when they captured the bridges over the River Rhône and the Caen Canal at Benouville and Ranville. So today we are in a Optica, and we're going to use this. It's nicely decked out in French colours. We're going to fly over to the bridges, and we'll discuss the events that occurred on the day of D-Day itself. So let's get up in the air. I'm not even sure that this thing is a really lovely stable platform to use, so we'll get the gyroscope on. There we go. Let's reduce the thrust a little bit. We'll just see now if we can get our autopilot on. Okay. We've just taken off from it's the airport to the west of Caen, Carpiquet, I believe, and we're going to fly now over to the bridges. Whilst we're just moving over there, you can help out on the channel anytime you like. You can join the Discord. If you scan down to the Second World War, you'll find a D-Day, and here you'll see a timeline, and this is all the events that happened on D-Day, and you can click on one of these events, and it will give you what happened at that time. So in part 7 we basically got to where we'd done the landings of the gliders and which was this event here, and you can flick through and check all those things out. So we're heading now over Caen. Caen got heavily bombed. Actually got bombed on D-Day. The northern part of the outskirts of Caen was bombed. As they the whole idea of the this is 6th Airborne operation was to control the eastern flank of the invasion beaches. They wanted to hold the bridges over the Orne and the river, the Caen Canal and the River Orne, which are these two strips of water coming up now. And they wanted to destroy the rivers on the Dives to prevent the Germans from counter-attacking from the east. Most of the area beyond the Breville Ridge, which is that line of trees you can see in the middle distance. And let me just get my pointer out. This here is the Breville Ridge. Most of the land over this side was flooded, and this is what the Germans tended to do. They and the River Dives, which is in the far distance, they had about 5 bridges, and the Canadian Parachute Regiment and I can't remember what was another one. Their job was to destroy those bridges, and it forces then the Germans, if they needed to bring in reinforcements, to come through Caen. Now, they bombed elements of Caen, mainly on the northern side, to disrupt any reinforcements coming up towards Sword Beach, which you can see up there on the top of the screen. We're flying over a place called Colombelles. This is a cement factory, and this was where the Halifax bombers that were towing the gliders were doing their bombing run to disguise the fact that they just dropped off the gliders. Okay, so this is you can see the river is actually on the left, and sorry, the river is on the right, and the canal is on the left as we're flying up. When we get to the bridge, then we'll do a quick recap of what immediately happened, and then we can discuss the other days, parts of the day. So, as we discussed yesterday, so we've got the 6th Airborne Division is basically taking over this area, and to create a bridgehead. Initially a defensive one, which Monty hoped that he could then make into an offensive one, and we will see that this area becomes a launch pad later on for Operation Goodwood. Okay, so this is the bridges we have in front of us. Below us is Benouville, and we've got Le Port in the centre of the screen here, we've got Pegasus Bridge and Horsa Bridge in the middle of the screen now. Let's just do a quick talk about the 6th Airborne Division. Basically, the 6th Airborne Division is divided into two brigades, and you have the 5th Parachute Brigade is under Brigadier Nigel Poet, and this is the brigade that the D Company of the 2nd Battalion of the Ox and Bucks Light Infantry is appointed to. So the Major Howard's D Company are the ones who take control here of the bridges, and the 5th Parachute Brigade is split into the 7th Parachute Battalion, and this is under a guy called Pine Coffin, a great name. His name was Richard Pine Coffin. And so he's in control of the 7th Battalion. Of the Parachute Regiment. Their drop zone was drop zone W, which is this drop zone here, which is between Benouville Le Port below us and Ouistreham up there on the coast, at the eastern end of Sword Beach. The 5th Parachute Regiment is also split, so it's the 7th Parachute Regiment, and then also the 12th and 13th Parachute Regiment. And their drop zone was here, which is drop zone N, and this is to the north and north east of Ranville, which is this village here. This church is in the centre, and you can actually see here the Commonwealth Cemetery. The drop zone, very open in this area, unlike on the Cottetown Peninsula, where there's a lot of bocage country, small fields, large hedges. Here is much more open, and it's got the benefit of being large, open. It has distinguishable features nearby, so you'll be able to see the church tower of Ranville. You can also see the smokestacks of the cement works, and you also have to the north east the Breville Ridge, which doesn't look much from the sky, but when you're down here you can see that it is actually a pretty significant feature of the landscape. And on this Breville Ridge is a water tower, which we can see here. So as a drop zone, you can't really get much better, because with these very distinctive features, you can quite easily orientate yourself. So this is where as I say, 12th and 13th Parachute Battalions will land. This is also where the Pathfinders will come in. Brigadier Nigel Poet will land very quickly after the gliders at the bridges in order to organise the drop zones. And a lot of this, their job is to secure these drop zones. There will be, and to remove any glider posts, or what they called Rommel's asparagus, because they have a glider landings plans for about, I think it's 3:45 in the morning, and this will be bringing in some heavier equipment, jeeps and 6-pounder guns, things like that. Whilst we're on the subject, 3rd Parachute Brigade was commanded by Brigadier James Hill, and that consisted of the 1st Canadian and the 9th Parachute Battalion, and also the 8th Parachute Battalion. Now, their drop zone, they had 2 drop zones. One of them was designated Drop Zone V for Victor, and it was basically on the other side of the Breville Ridge. So when we look back, I can find this is the Breville Ridge, where we see the water tower. There's a chateau here, and this and a road down. This side over here is this is Varaville here, and this to the west of Varaville was the drop zone. So it was an obvious mission to control the Breville Ridge, because from that point of view, the Breville Ridge, if you control the Breville Ridge, you can see all the movement of the troops coming in off Sword Beach, and so your artillery observers will be able to bring down accurate artillery fire on everything that's going on around and over the other side of the river. So 9th Parachute Battalion, we're definitely to be talking about these, not today, but in the next few episodes, and that they were the under Lieutenant Colonel Otway, were designated to destroy the Merville Battery, which is from this drop zone is to the north west. We can fly quickly over there. So they would move from that drop zone to the Merville Battery, which is this group of bunkers here. And 1st Canadian, they were designated to destroy the bridges, not only at Varaville, but also at a place called Rob Hom, which I believe is over here, and to destroy these bridges. Now these bridges there were 5 of them along this river, and most of this area is flooded, by the way. So you take out the bridges, and then these causeways across them become significant. 8th Parachute Regiment Parachute Battalion. Their drop zone was south of Esquiville, the village of Esquiville, which is, I believe, one of these villages down here, quite a way south. I think it's this one here. So they were their mission was to destroy the bridges at Burez and Truan. So as I say, this meant that up there is the Pas de Calais. So with the bridges down, any counter-attacks can't come through this area. It forces them at least to come all the way around into Caen before then pushing up to the landing beaches. And of course, if you can force them to have to move during the day, then they're then susceptible to the Allied Air Force. So the drop zones, the landings, the parachutes, they're going to be very susceptible during the night. If the Germans move out during the night, then they're not going to get the cover of the parachutes aren't going to get the cover of Allied Air Force. So let's start talking about the area around Benouville and Runville, and we'll try to keep a running time going as well. And actually, this might be a good point to actually to move on and go into part 9, so I can split this video up later. So if you come back in, we'll just take a break now, and in part 9 we'll start discussing what happened during the day surrounding these two villages here. So we'll see you in a moment.